Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa wala. The video is still searching what is. Okay, it's back on now. So inshallah, we continue inshallah talking about the fasting. And yesterday we covered the people who these rulings concern, and we talked about the way they categorize it. The fasting person, who is not, who doesn't have a choice but to fast, and the one that, have the options to fast or to break their fasting. We talked about all those things, and I hope, inshallah, you get that. So today, he wants to talk about the sick person, because yesterday we talked about their difference that they have between the traveler. The traveler, when can they break their fasting, or even if they fast while traveling, is that fasting going to cover their obligatory fasting? And some of the ulama said no, they have to redo those days that they fasted while traveling. But we said the chosen one is when you're traveling and you can fast. If you fast, then that should be sufficient for your obligatory fast in the month of Ramadan. So today they have a dispute between the sick person. We said the sick person also, the ulama, they said he has options, either to fast or not to fast. But they have differences in what kind of a disease, how to limit the disease that will make the person, or will give the person that chance, that opportunity to fast or not to fast. So they have to dispute about it. ومالك فذهب قوم إلى أنه المرض الذي يلحق من الصوم فيه مشقة وضرر. They said the fast, that the sickness that will make this person to be qualified to be in a position of, having the options, is the disease, that the sickness that if the person fasts, they are going to be suffering, and that fasting may be harmful to them. If that is the case, then Imam Malik rahimahullah said, this is when the person is giving the opportunity to break their fasting. Again, when the fasting become, a trouble, a problem, a difficulty to this person, or even is bringing the harm to the person who's sick, if they fast, then Imam Malik rahimahullah, he didn't say this person will just break their fasting, or this person. No, he said this is the only time that this person has the chance to be in a position of optional. Like at that time, if they want to fast, they can fast. But if they don't want to fast, they should not fast. And it's kind of like, if you look at Imam Malik rahimahullah here, it's kind of extreme here, because if the person is sick and they can handle fasting while they're sick, of course that is okay in most of the madhabs. But he said if the person is not, the fasting is not bringing harm to the person, then this person, to him, he is not considered, he doesn't have the eligibility. But can we say that? I want another word. Abdullah, can you hear me?
Legitimate.
Huh?
Legitimate.
Okay, legitimate. Fast. But I didn't want that. I want another one. Like I have it in my head, but I can't bring it in my mouth. Eligibility to fast. He's not eligible to fast. Okay, that is the word that I'm looking for. Yes, so he's not eligible to fast. So Imam Malik rahimahullah, he's saying that. So, but of course, if the person is being harmed by the fasting while he's sick, most of the ulama they said no, that fasting itself become haram on them, and we'll see what the ulama for that. So, if you are in a Madhab Imam Malik, if you are sick, you still did not reach in a level of having options to fast or not to fast. You must fast, except if this fasting is causing you harm, is even threatening your life. And in this case, Imam Malik rahimahullah, he said, now you reach the level of having option to fast or not to fast. That's number one, Imam Malik rahimahullah. So Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said the sickness that the person have the option to fast or to break their fast is when we have when the percentage is more that if he fasts or she fasts, they might be in harm. He didn't fast yet or she didn't fast yet, but it's more likely if they fast, they are going to be harmful. So if that is there, if that percentage is high, if the chance of getting hurt by fasting is there, or is more, Imam Ahmad rahimahullah, he said, that's it. So he should not be even fasting at that time. Imam Malik rahimahullah, he said, well, the person has to be in a position of being harmful. And some of the fuqaha also, they said, as long as when you look at this person, you can identify him as a sick person, that's it. Which is good, but it's bad also. Because some people are very good in tricking. They can make themselves look like they are sick, and they may ask you, and you can tell them, oh, you can break your fast and you are responsible. So here, those are ulama, they sorry, I have to move that person. So they said if the person is sick, and when you look at him, you can identify that he's sick. But that is very vague. It's not easy to tell. So here the judgment is going to go back to the person. It's going to go back to the person. If he says, I am sick, that is between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's except if we go to the experts, if we go to the doctors, if the doctor said that this person is sick, then that's it. That person, in this opinion, they should not be, they reach the level of having options to fast or not to fast. But what I'm trying to clarify here is, if somebody comes to you and say, hey, I am sick, am I allowed to break my fast or not? Here we have to go back to the people of that field. We ask them their opinion here, but not me, who doesn't know the medicine or who even identify the sick person, because there are so many fake sicknesses that people can claim. So just to make it clear, we have to go back to the people who have the knowledge of that. If they say this person, if they fast, or if this person is sick, and this is the kind of a sickness, and if they fast, that might harm them, then that's it. In this opinion, it's going to be, the person is going to reach that level of having the option to fast or not to fast. Now, so the other thing that they have difference here is the fourth mas'ala, which is, when can the traveler break their fast? When can they start enjoying their excuse that they were giving? The excuse is, if the person is traveling, they should not fast. But when that starts, when that excuse starts, when can they break their fast while traveling? So some of them قالوا يفطر يومه الذي خرج فيه مسافرا. So number one, Imam al-Sha'bi and Hassan al-Basri and Imam Ahmad, they said he will break his fast on the day that he left. On the day that he left his home traveling, that is the day that he will stop fasting, or he has their you know the option to fast or not to fast. And this is a madhab from Ahmad, because we are focusing on the madhab al-arba'a. But if you go deep, this is the madhab al-Sha'bi also and al-Hasan al-Basri. So this is the first opinion. The second opinion, which is many of the fuqaha, they said, لا يفطر يومه ذلك. They said they will not, he will not break, they will not break their fast on the day that they are traveling. And this is a very strong statement, but also it's supported with very strong ulama. But then, to limit it or to prove it also is going to have a lot of dispute. So the first people who said, okay, the day that you left, you will start, you can break your fast. The second statement, they said, no, on that day, you cannot break your fast because of the day started within the month of Ramadan, and you started the day staying at home, so you have to continue fasting on that day. Now, and this is the fuqaha sab'ah. And when you hear the fuqaha sab'ah, they are very famous fuqaha, and it is Sa'id ibn Musayyib. He's a great tabi'i. If you learn the fiqh or Islamic studies, you have to know him. And he's a tabi'i. Tabi'i is the people who learn from the Sahaba, from the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, but they never, witnessed the Prophet ﷺ. They did not have the chance to see the Prophet ﷺ. So these are the tabi'in. The people who saw the Prophet ﷺ, those are the Sahaba. So these tabi'in, and Sa'id ibn Musayyib, they call him Sayyid al-Tabi'in, the leader, of the Tabi'in. So Sa'id ibn Musayyib, this is opinion. And whenever you hear Fuqaha al-Amsar, the Fuqaha of the region is the people who were together at the same time in Medina. They were all scholars in fiqh, and they resided in Medina, and all of them learned from the Sahaba. But when they call them, they are referring to seven of them. And one of them is Sa'id ibn Musayyib and Urwa ibn Zubayr. Urwa ibn Zubayr, he is a student of Aisha radiallahu anha, because of his mother is a sister to Aisha radiallahu anha. So Aisha was his aunt. So he had the chance to learn directly from Aisha. And most of the Mother Imam Malik came through Urwa. So you have the chain of An Malik, An Nafi, An Urwa, An Ibn Umar, and Aisha radiallahu anha. So then you have Malik will narrate from Nafi. Nafi will narrate from Urwa. Urwa narrates either from Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, or he narrates from Aisha radiallahu anha. So he was a direct student, of Aisha, the wife of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And Aisha also is one of the greatest students, if it is not the great, she is the greatest student of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So then Urwa was close to Aisha radiallahu anha. And then you have Qasim ibn Muhammad, Qasim, the son of Muhammad, and Muhammad is the son of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu Siddiq. He also was one of the greatest scholars in Medina. And then you have Abdullah ibn Utbah. He was one of the greatest fuqaha in Medina. Abdullah ibn Utbah ibn Mas'ud. So there's Utbah ibn Mas'ud. So this was Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. And you have Kharija ibn Zayd ibn Thabit. Zayd ibn Thabit, you all know him. He is there. When you talk about the Quran, you cannot miss Zayd ibn Thabit, because he was the one that compiled the Quran, in time of Abu radiallahu anhu. He was the one that, was assigned create a committee to compile the Quran in one book. So his son was one of the ulama of Al Madinah. His name is Kharij ibn Zayd Thabit. And you have Sulaiman ibn Yassar. Sulaiman ibn Yassar also was one of the fuqaha of Al Madinah. They all live at the same time. And the seventh one is Abu Salama ibn Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Ibn Abdurrahman ibn Auf, radiallahu anh, he was one of the greatest Sahaba. So his son also was among the among the fuqaha of Medina. And there's another one that they dispute: did he live with them or he was younger than them, which is Salim ibn Abdullah ibn Umar. Abdullah ibn Umar also was a direct student from the Prophet ﷺ. Salim, he has a son who was Salim. Salim also learned from his father, but they said he was younger than the one that we mentioned. So these people, they said the person will fast. Why I'm bringing them? Because you're learning fiqh, so you will go deep and you have to learn about the chain of the fuqaha. Each one of them, who is their group, where they get from, what is their chain. So it's very important to be familiar with those names. So they said the fuqaha al-amsar, the fuqaha, the jurist of their region is Medina. They said he will not break his fast, or she will not break her fast on the day that they started traveling. Now, the second opinion. And jama'a also min al-ulama liman alima annahu yadkhulu al-Madina awwala yawmihi dhalika an yadkhula sa'iman. So this is in terms of the day that you're leaving. But in terms of coming back, they said, most of them, they said, if you know that you will reach to your destination during the day, or the majority of the day, most of the day, then you should be fasting before you reach. But then there is no solid proofs, that can prove that also here. So some of them, they said, if you're coming back and you will reach to your destination less than half of the day, then you should not be fasting. You should not be fasting. But some of them also went so extreme that if you know that you're gonna reach to your destination, or like coming back, when you come back, like more than half of the day, if you don't fast, you have kafara. And kafara is to fast 2 months straight, which means that you'll be given a penalty. Now, and they have disputes for the person who entered وقد دخل وقد ذهب بعض النهار. When you came back, most of the day, like for example, you travel to Milwaukee or to Chicago, you come back to Madison here. I'm not saying traveling to Milwaukee, or Chicago, that is a reason for you to break your fast. So we listen, we all make our ruling, So Imam Shafi'i and Imam Malik rahimahumullah, they said if the person is coming back and they know that they will stay more, they will reach like more than half of the day in their hometown, if they fast, if they intentionally break their fasting, they have kafara. And Abu Hanifa, he said, they should not fast, but also they should not eat. And they said this is out of having respect to the month of Ramadan. Like you come back around noon, for example, or you came back around 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. So here, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah and his companions, they said, out of respect, you are not traveling anymore, but you are not fasting while you're traveling. When you come home, you should stay away from eating or drinking or anything that can break your fast, out of the honor and the respect of this month. So this is Madhab Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, but also, we have no evidence that we can lean towards supporting this also. Even the first opinion. So here is just they having opinions, but they will come to all of them. They will come to their reasonings, or if they don't have a proof that is from the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, they will bring their reasoning. Sometimes they use qiyas, which is to estimate, if they can take another ruling that has approved and applied to this ruling. Now, so this is Madhab Abu Hanifa. You come back, you during the day of the month of Ramadan, the excuse that you were giving to break your fast or to be in that option like tunnel is going to be lifted, and you are going to be considered as somebody who's not traveling, but then you were fasting. Imam Abu Hanifa, he said, you should stop eating and drinking for the rest of the day. And he gave the same ruling for the woman who was in the middle of in her menstruation, but then it stopped during the day of the month of Ramadan. It stopped during the day of the month of Ramadan. Because if she cannot fast, it's haram for her to fast while menstruating. But let's say around 4 or 5, it stopped and she took a shower. Imam Abu Hanifa, he said she cannot eat or drink. She cannot eat or drink. So while she is in her period, that's not a problem. She can eat or drink. But he said as soon as that is being removed from her, that stops, then they cannot eat or drink for the honor of the month of Ramadan. This is the Madhab al-Hanafi. Now, so the reason of their dispute here, is because of some of their hadith that came, appear to be that is contradicting. And one of those hadith is Hadith Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh. He said that, and we mentioned this hadith yesterday, that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he was fasting till he reached Al-Kadid, thumma aftar. Al-Kadid is a place that is close to Mecca. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh said the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam was fasting till he reached to Kadid during the day, and he broke his fast. He stopped fasting. After he stopped fasting, after ma'ahun nas, people also break their fast. So in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ was traveling. Sorry, Kadid is very close to Medina. It's not Makkah, it's Medina. So he was traveling, but when he was coming back, he was very close. Kadid is considered today, So when he broke his fast. So it was very close. But then he did not complete the day. He did not complete the day. So people who don't have like reasoning or putting a condition, they said because of this hadith, people can fast and they can base their evidence, they can base their action on this hadith. And also there is another hadith that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, and we also mentioned this hadith yesterday, the day of the year of the conquest of Makkah, Fath Makkah, that the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, he was traveling, of course, to Makkah. When he reached to very close to Makkah, which is, Ghamim, is a very close place to Makkah, he called, because people are exhausted, he called for water, and he lifted that cup of water till everybody can see him, and he started drinking during the day of the month of Ramadan. And some people did not, did what he did, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rather, they continued their fasting. And he was told, some people are still fasting, Ya Rasulullah. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ulaika humul usah. Ulaika humul usah. Those are they're disobedient. Those are the people who are disobedient. The Prophet ﷺ, he disliked what they did because he was one of them, and he broke his fast because if he saw their need of breaking or the importance of breaking their fast, he did. They should all follow him, ﷺ. But some of them, feel like they are strong enough to fast. But then in this particular action, the Prophet ﷺ wanted them to break their fast, break their fast. But yesterday also we talked about the traveler who came to the Prophet ﷺ, and he told the Prophet ﷺ that I am strong enough to fast while traveling. The Prophet told him, it's an excuse that Allah has given to you. If you want to fast, you fast. If you want to stop your fast, you stop your fast. Also, we talked about this. So we don't know the reason here why the Prophet ﷺ wanted them to break their fast, all of them. One of the reasons that the ulama brought here, that we can use as an argument, he said, because of they were going to meet their enemies and they need the strength and they were exhausted, they were traveling, more than a day. So the need for them to break their fast to be stronger was there. So that's why the Prophet break this fast, and he wanted all of them to do what he did. But at that time, there was no opinions because of he's the one who will give their final ruling. Now, so this is in terms of the person who is sick and the person also who is traveling. In addition, for the person who's traveling, what is the distance? What is the distance that the person is given the chance to break their fast? There's a distance. The distance is, you will find a lot of differences in the distance. Imam Ash-Shafi'i and Al-Layth, they said the distance is 84 miles. 84 miles. Can somebody help? Okay, I will ask a question. Can somebody help me to how many kilometers? But anyways, they said 84 miles. This is Al-Madhab Al-Shafi'i wal-Layth. 84 miles. And Al-Awza'i, he said just 30 miles. 30 miles. This is Al-Awza'i, even though maybe you are not familiar with him, but he's one of the great fuqaha. Abu Hanifa, he said, no one can, the traveler that can combine their prayer is the one that will combine, will break while traveling, and his timeline is 3 days and 3 nights. 3 days and 3 nights. If your if your trip is less than 3 days and 3 nights, you cannot break your fast. This is in Madhab Abu Hanifa, and but it's very difficult to find a solid proof for what they said here. There's a reason why they have a party who came and went against all of them, which is a very known scholar, which is Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, who is well known as Sheikh Al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. He went against all of them. He said, no, I don't have any proof to limit the distance. I don't have any proof to limit the distance. And the way they limited the distance is different traveling that the Prophet ﷺ did, and they are not very accurate. So here, he said anything that can be called a trip, a travel, then the person can break their fast and they can combine their prayer. And I found what he said very, very strong, very, very strong, and he has very strong proof to support that. So I personally lean towards what Sheikh Al-Islam rahimahullah said here, that anything that you call a travel, regardless of the distance, you can break your fast. So this is this agreement that happened between the fuqaha in terms of traveling and in terms of getting sick. If a person is sick. Now, the other thing that I really wanted to mention here is there are so many people who sometimes want to bring an argument. The fiqh is already argued, and the argument is almost done. You will just take one of the arguments and move on with it. But if you want to create your own argument, it was argued a long time ago. It was argued a long time ago, except there's something called an-nawazil. An-nawazil are the thing that comes and it never happened before. It never happened before. If that happened, then the ulama, they will come together. The ulama who are qualified to do that, they will issue a ruling. They will issue a ruling for that. But in terms of things that they talked about, they did it, and we really have to follow. We have to follow with that. For example, especially if that proof is in the Quran and the Sunnah, you cannot come and remove, like say, okay, I think if we can do it this way, it's going to be better. That's innovation right away, and that is unacceptable. Like somebody may come to us and say, we know that back in the days, people used to travel, and the nature of their travel and the nature of our travel is different. They used to travel with camels, with donkeys, you know, walking. So it used to be very, very difficult. And they try to say that was the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala one, gave them the opportunity to break their fast while traveling. But nowadays, our travel is not difficult. So because of it's not difficult, they did not find an excuse for us to break our fast. I said that is very, very, very wrong. It's an argument that I hear all the time, but it's very wrong because they are trying to use their common sense to modify the religion. They're trying to use common sense to modify the religion. Let me tell you the danger of doing that because you are trying to put everybody in the same level while the religion is accommodating everybody and their situation. If you make any changes from your own, then another person, if we agree on the changes that you made and we put it as a principle, as a rule, then you are going to cause harm and you are responsible. Let's say today, there are people, we hear, alhamdulillah, when you want to go to travel, you turn your car on, go to the airport, or somebody drop you. You can, call Uber and all. You can call Lyft, or you can call your friend to drop you up to the airport, or taxi. There can be a green taxi and a green taxi in cab, yeah, cab and then van, whatever they call it. Anyways, they will drop you at the airport. You go there, put your earpiece. You want to listen to Quran. Sometimes listen to music or to the Facebook, and sit there. You can buy, some drinks and enjoy. Then they call you on time. You go there 5, 10 minutes. Go in the plane, and that's it. They start serving you, and then you can go to sleep. And then the next thing you will hear is you are in New York, right? Even though no one wants to go to New York these days, but you are in New York or you are in Seattle, Washington. And that's it. You come out of the airport, you have your taxi, and you go to the hotel. It's as if even you enjoy the trip than staying at home sometimes. And subhanAllah, they said because of that, they don't find this person being qualified to break their fast. I tell them, no, that's wrong. That is wrong. Because of Islam does not look at the condition of the person. Islam look at the global condition, what is going on everywhere. So this is the nature of this person's travel. But today, somewhere within the globe, there are people, if they want to go to Milwaukee, or if they want to go to some prairie, even some prairie here, if they want to go there, it's very difficult for them. So if we just put a ruling for us, then we are modifying the religion to limit it to us. And the religion is not for us, only for us, it's for the whole entire world. And it has to have a ruling that will be valid for everybody. Then before anyone opens their mouth, say that they have to have the knowledge and the wisdom. Even you don't need the wisdom. Because of the knowledge, you cannot use the deen, you cannot use wisdom. You have the knowledge first, then you use the wisdom to push that knowledge. But you cannot have the knowledge and you don't have the wisdom, push the wisdom with knowledge. No, you don't do that. So then I tell them that is totally wrong, very dangerous. You are putting yourself in a very serious matter because you are actually trying to change the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with your tongue and sitting there. And the Prophet actually he cursed the people who he said that there will be a time people will sit and be in good conditions. And whenever a hadith come to them, they will say, no, I think, it could have been done this way or that way. The Prophet said, those are the curse. Those people, I curse those people because they have no respect to their deen. So I just want us to be very careful and have a correct explanation when people talk about those kind of things. But in terms of the sick person, do not tell anyone that you are sick, not fast, except if you are a doctor, except if you know what you're saying. You know, the religion, if you want to say something, be certain about it. And if you don't know, just ask. Because the religion is a combination of so many things. So many things. Even there are rulings. If I know the knowledge, I am not allowed to give the ruling till I consult with people who know about it, who know about that matter. Even though I know the ruling, but I cannot issue a ruling for that if I don't have enough knowledge about that particular matter. About that particular matter, I cannot give it. That's why you have to consult with the other party to be able to give a ruling. The Prophet ﷺ used to do that. A matter will come, he will tell them, no, go, because antum adra bi umuri dunyakum. You know better about your dunya things. Go and verify and bring, and then I will tell you the ruling. These are very, very important. So that's why our religion is not limited to the scholars, but everybody's expertise is needed when you give your opinion. But yours is limited to give your knowledge about what you know, and then Islam will come and give a ruling. But you don't use your knowledge and give a ruling. No, 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 no. You give us your opinion based on your expertise, then we will give a ruling. This is the combination. So the scholar also should not just say, you know what, I'm not going to listen to doctors. I'm not going to listen to these, people. No, no, no. They will listen to each other, but they will consult one another. At the end of the day, they'll give a ruling, and the ruling has to come from the Quran and from the Sunnah of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. So I will inshallah give the chance for the brothers and the sisters to ask questions. I have some questions, as the brother indicated yesterday. If they don't have, I know if they don't have, if you guys don't have questions, I will ask my question to see if uh, if we're together or it's just. So I don't have you on camera. You may have your tea, drinking your tea, and yes. So inshallah, the floor is open for questions, brothers and sisters. Yeah, before you ask, you just have to unmute yourself and ask. So, hello. So then I have few questions. Assalamualaikum. Waalaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Is that Hawa? Yeah. Okay, Hawa, go ahead.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned that if a woman stops her menstruation halfway through the day, it is respect that she doesn't eat for the rest of the day. So yes. does that benefit, like you have the fasting benefits because you stopped eating, or does that work?
That is a very good question. So as I said, that is in the madhab, we have 4 schools of thought. That is one saying that was said by one of those people, Abu Hanifa. And his reasoning is to have respect to the month of Ramadan, but you will not have the reward of fasting on that day. You don't have the reward of fasting on that day. That's the reason why we cannot be convinced that, because of, if you ask him if this person eats and drink, did he violate any rule? He will tell you no. But I want him to stop eating and drinking out of respect of the month of Ramadan. We'll tell him, as long as he's been giving the excuse not to fast, not to drink, then why are you doing that? So that's why all of the 3, they went against him. They said, no, 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 no. He can or she can eat or drink for the rest of the day and she has no problem. But maybe if anyone doesn't ask this question, I will ask that question. I will do that question. Oh, that's a very interesting question, very important question. So, but I will give you what is chosen here. It proves that if they have their menstruation halfway, during the day, they don't have to. They don't have to. They just continue. They're just like a day that a normal day that they are not fasting. Then the next day they can fast. But then, in terms of prayer, it's different. In terms of prayer, it's different. Let's say, right after Fajr, right after prayer, people prayed Fajr, they found out that, their menstruation stopped. The Fajr that just passed, they will not pray that one. They will not pray that one. But they have to make sure that they take a bath before the janaba, the ghusl janaba, before dhuhr, so they can pray dhuhr. So the fasting is a day, but the prayer is different. But let's say another scenario can happen. They know that their period stopped right before Fajr, but then they didn't take a shower till after Fajr. Then they have to make up. They have to take a shower and make up the Fajr that they just missed. Inshallah. Thank you, Hawa. That's a good question. Yeah. Any other question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. I have a question.
Naam, Habibi.
I noticed that out of the examples that you gave, when you gave what the scholars did, you most of the time did not mention all four scholars. You just mentioned, like for instance, when you talk about the distance, you just mentioned the Shafi'i and Abu Hanifa. You didn't mention Malik or you went ahead and mentioned Ibn Taymiyyah and Awza'i. But you never mentioned Malik.
I mentioned Malik and Shafi'i, they have the same distance.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Malik and Shafi'i, they have the same distance. And of course, Al-Awza'i, they have 30 milan. And Abu Hanifa has 3 days and 3 nights. And then the Fuqaha Sabah also. And then you have, how to call it? You have Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. Naam. Jazakallah khair, Habib.